Welcome everyone to Stafford Speedway, and you can see the pit area is busy, which means we're back. After 6 months of waiting, we're back in action with the first event of 2024, headlined by the Street Stocks, Limited Late Models, and the NAPA Auto Parts Duel qualifying races. We're going to start this pit preview in the Street Stock pits, where Kyle's standing by with one of our contenders.
Bonzo, let's talk to a former champion here in the Street Stocks, and Travis Haidar. Second place a year ago, won last October, last time we raced, and is back with a good-looking race car. Talk about the off-season. Understand there was a lot that went into this race car over the last 5 months.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really touch anything from last year. We pretty much left the car the same, put a new body on it, got it wrapped all nice, looking pretty. Really just cosmetic stuff. We didn't change anything mechanically, but everything went well in practice, so I'm hoping she holds up for today and we can pick up where we left off from last year.
A lot of talk, obviously, during the off-season that our champion from a year ago, Ryan Waterman, not going to be here full-time, and that should open the door for you to contend for the championship. But your thoughts and your optimism coming into 2024?
I think he'll be here at some point, and I don't mind it. I like racing against him. I learned a lot last year racing with him, so I'm hoping I can use some of the things I learned last year this year. But yeah, I'm sure he'll be here at some point.
Do you feel like one of the veterans of this division now?
No, there's still so many guys that I'm racing against that are older than me. I don't think I'll ever feel like a veteran.
Just turned 21 2 days ago. Travis, best of luck to you here today and for the rest of this season.
Thank you, appreciate it.
All right, that is Travis Haidar, former Street Stock champion here, looking for another here in 2024. Let's go to the other side of the pits now and hear from a championship contender in our limited late models with Bonzo.
Kyle, Matt Clement enters his 10th full season at Stafford in the limited late models, and coming off one of his best seasons yet last year with 4 wins and a second place finish in the standings, which I know you don't really like talking about. But before we go there, what is it like knowing that you've been here for 10 full seasons already in this division?
You know, I've said it before, but I've been told it takes 10 years to get good at anything. You know, I don't know if I'm good, but we're getting there, trying to get better every time we're out here. So to be racing at Stafford for 10 years, not a lot of people get to say that they've been here for 10 years straight. That's a huge accomplishment for me and my team and my family. You know, we're just proud to call Stafford home.
Now, you say it takes 10 years, but it took half those years to have a 7-win season in 2019. But after that, the next couple years, you couldn't quite get back up to that level. You had a great year last year. What's it going to take to duplicate that this season or do better?
Consistency. We really found out that consistency is the key. That 7-win season in 2019, that seems like you know, a million years ago at this point. But yeah, no, it just comes down to knowing what the car's capable of, not pushing it too hard, knowing when to push it a little bit harder when you're in traffic and stuff like that. Last year I made a ton of mistakes out on the track in traffic, so this year we'll try to minimize those mistakes, and you know, hopefully we'll end up at the front.
He won the Spring Sizzler feature last year. He's looking to do it again. Matt Clement trying to start off his pursuit of his first track title with a trip to victory lane. Now we're going to go from the limiteds to the late models, where Kyle's standing by with our most recent winner.
And Bonzo, we're able to catch up with the latest late model winner at the end of the 2023 season, and Chris Meyer. And Chris, first off, congratulations on that win 6 months ago. Do you think that momentum can continue through the offseason, 181 days later, to start 2024?
Well, it really has with the guys and the team and the sponsors. Everyone, I mean, you know, the motivation here is really high. So we think we're going to have a good piece today. We know that we can't, I mean, our goal is to race for the championship this year. That doesn't mean I think I'm the favorite or anything, but that's our goal. So I know you can't win it on the first day, but we're certainly here to race, and we're gonna try to win the Sizzler. And
a bit of a new look for you this year. What went into this scheme?
This is something we had talked about doing actually a couple of years ago, was going to this, I know Kyle Busch ran it, but we're Bobby Labonte fans, so it's like the Interstate Batteries throwback thing, and we just wanted to have a white car. We never had a white car before, and you know, it kind of matches our colors that we've had for like the last 5 or 6 years, which is black, green, and white, but it's like inverted for what we normally would do.
And some off-track, off-season news for you. The family continues to grow.
Yeah, we had our 3rd child, a little girl, Harper. She's an angel. She don't make a peep, you know what I mean? Which is a good compliment to my boys who are wild. And as you guys know, Bonza, Bofa, as my youngest son calls him. And that's been great, you know.
Best luck to you here later this afternoon.
Thank you very much. We're gonna have some fun.
That's Chris Meyer looking forward to start his 2024 season, much like he started 2023 in the late model feature here later today. Let's go to the open modified pit now and hear from a driver looking to start his very first Spring Sizzler tomorrow.
Kyle, the last couple Spring Sizzlers have been dominated by drivers who've been around in modified racing for a long time. But one of our newest entries to the Spring Sizzler is a guy making his Spring Sizzler debut, and that's modified up-and-comer Austin Beers, driving the 179. It's your first start since your first start back in 2021. First Sizzler appearance. How did you and the Jensen clan get paired together?
They made a change or whatever. Their last driver, they parted ways, so I heard rumblings of it, and I called them up. Didn't really have any rides in New England. I was like, hey, you got an open seat? And they're like, yeah, what do you want to do? And we're just doing race by race, see how it's going. We got third at the Northeast Classic there in New Hampshire, had a good run, so figured we'd come to Sizzler and see how we could do.
Now, you said for a while you're excited to come to Stafford. It just hasn't worked out plans-wise. You're here now. What is the excitement for you competing in the greatest race in the history of spring?
Oh, I'm super excited. You know, when my dad used to run it, and just like how big this race is, and just how much Stafford's been improving, and this is the best short track we have right now, and they're going to keep improving, and they're going to get even better. And just watching it on Flow every Friday night, just wanting to be out there with all my buddies from up here. So definitely excited to tackle Stafford and see how I can do.
Now, you did a track walk before we did this interview. You're still learning the track because you only had that one start?
Yeah, I got 150 laps here, so I got a little more than new guys, but I'm still off whatever Keith has, which is like 10 million or something like that. So definitely short on experience, but I'm ready to tackle it.
And you're doing double duty because you just announced yesterday you're competing in the SK, driving Tom Bowles' car. How excited are you about that? Because I know you've been wanting to run an SK for a bit. Now you had that opportunity.
Yeah, I was going to run for Marcello last year, but he had some unfortunate events going on, so he was actually driving with my seat in the car for a couple wins he had there, and definitely excited to run an SK here. Just like I said, watching Stafford on Friday nights, and just all my friends out there, and I'm excited. It's going to be like iRacing with all of them out there, so just excited to be out there with them and running with them.
How hard do you go for 40 laps tonight, if you go hard at all?
With these M20s and 30s, you got to save a little bit, but judging by the races last year, it seems like you got some time to save and ride around, and just avoid some carnage. So just being patient and hopefully getting to the front.
There's a guy who knows how to save his tires. It's Austin Beers, trying to get a good start to the Spring Sizzler weekend with a good run to Duel. Good luck today.
Thank you.
That's Austin Beers. We're going to go on to the other side of the open modified pits where Kyle's standing by with another contender for the Spring Sizzler.
And Bond's able to catch up with a driver that has run this event the last 2 years, looking for his third start here tomorrow in the NAPA Spring Sizzler. 2 top 10 finishes for Mike Christopher Jr. How do you approach this weekend now, though? Obviously, the format has changed over the last couple of years with the duels on Saturday, the race on Sunday, plus qualifying heat to kick things off. How do you manage all that?
It sounds great to me. I love weekend racing, especially since the Sizzler's become such a big deal. Just look out in the parking lot. There's tons of campers, there's tons of drivers here. Maybe not the most amount of cars, but quality of cars, quality of drivers. And I think that's what any kind of division needs. So huge weekend, really looking forward to it. When it comes to heat race and duel and setting up for the feature, you just gotta finish as best you can. If there's a spot, say it's 5th, where you have to run, pick as many people off as you can, but the biggest thing is finishing up front so that you could start up front in the feature. That's the biggest thing. I said it in the interview I did with Stafford and Scott that you can't be behind the 8 ball here. So the biggest thing today is finish up front, know where you have to finish, get something if you can, but don't get stuck behind the 8 ball.
How huge would it be to add a Spring Sizzler resume to your resume?
Yeah, that's huge. Like I said, the Sizzler now, especially how Stafford and y'all are marketing it, it's definitely like it's not tied with any division or anything. It's just you show up, we're putting on a race, everyone come with their best equipment, and you race for a trophy and bragging rights, and that's I really like that. It brings it back to the old days where it wasn't tied to the tour or anything. It's just a prestigious race. So obviously that would mean a lot for anybody. It means a lot to modified racing here in the Northeast, but I need the Sizzler for the SK too. That's the one thing I haven't checked off. So yeah, maybe I can get that done too.
It's going to be my next question for you. A busy day today, but a busy day tomorrow as well. Double duty. Is the 82 SK ready to go?
Yeah, I think so. it's in the trailer, so you know, we didn't practice last week, but I'm fully confident in what me and my dad done throughout the winter, which honestly wasn't much. It'll be fine. You know, we started it up. It runs. Didn't really change anything other than that. So, you know, came off the trailer at the end of fall final, and hell, I didn't even put a body on it. I cleaned it up a little bit, and you know, we went through the drive line and the engine, and you know, a quick look at the rear end, that kind of stuff. But other than that, you know, it runs, it'll drive. You know, we get 2 practice sessions tomorrow, so it should be enough.
Best of luck to you throughout the weekend.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
That's Mike Christopher Jr. ready to go for his 3rd Napa Spring Sizzler tomorrow. Let's hear now from a driver that has won 4 of these races with Bonza.
Kyle, when we talk Spring Sizzler, you always got to mention the name Doug Coby, 4-time winner of this event, but this year you're competing in this race in a different ride, driving the Tineo 44. How did y'all get partnered up for this event?
Oh man, it's a funny story, I guess. They asked me to drive. No, really what happened was, you know, I'm working with Tommy Baldwin the last couple of years, and Tommy's really busy this year with cup racing, or so I thought. And so I had asked him over the winter if we were going to run the Spring Sizzler with the 7NY, and he told me he was not available and was going to be running cup cars this weekend. So I had talked to Lonnie last year when I helped the team out. I practiced for Bobby at the World Series at Thompson. And Lonnie had said to me over the winter that if there were some shows this year that conflicted with Bobby's schedule, that he might ask me to run a few races, and the Sizzler ended up being one of them. So I confirmed with Tommy that we weren't coming here with the 7NY and committed to the 44. And a couple weeks later, Tommy texted me and said, I'm still thinking about going to the Sizzler. And I said, it's not going to be with me, because I had already committed to these guys. And, you know, a lot of the guys that are working on the team are from the old 52, the old 10, my 10 team. So this is kind of a little reunion for us. It's a lot of fun. Always love working with my crew chief, John McKenna, and just looking to go out there and have some fun with the 44 guys this weekend.
Now, you've raced with this format in the Sizzler the last 2 years. What have you learned about how to approach the duel compared to how to approach the Sizzler and the heat races?
I have to say I really don't know. I haven't been too successful with this format. These open shows are usually kind of tricky for me anyway, just kind of figuring out how hard to go, when to go. Last year we ended up finishing 3rd in the Sizzler, but I don't even think we started that good or finished that good in our duel. I don't even remember, truthfully. It's just it's an interesting format. It's fun for all of us to do something different. You know, you got to get into the show, and you want to get into the show, but you don't want to use your stuff up, but you also want to be able to, you know, manage your tires in the show, and you know, start up front and kind of run with the leaders all day. And to do that, you got to run good in today's duels. So it's kind of a catch-22, but you know, just got to stay out of trouble. Ultimately, you don't know who you're going to be around in your heat races, and then hopefully the duels, you know, are long enough that you can settle in, and wherever you are, you are.
Well, good luck today.
Thanks, buddy.
That's Doug Coby looking to have a good start in the first half of Spring Sizzler weekend in his pursuit of 5 victories in the greatest race in the history of spring. It's time to go racing. It's event number 1 of 2024 with Ben Dodge on the call.
Well, thank you, Bonza, and we are ready. Today, of course, it is NAPA Auto Parts Duel Day here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. The greatest race in the history of spring is just around the corner, and we've waited all winter long to prepare for this one. A field of close to 100 cars are assembled in the pit area for this afternoon's festivities. The format has a lot of twists and turns, but there's no question about it. You will be guaranteed what Stafford is famous for, and that is some of the best short track competition in the country. I'm Ben Dodge, along with Kyle Rickey. Covering the action on pit row will be John Gates and Dave Barabald. Before we bring you the first of the qualifying round for the duels, and there will be 4 qualifying events, want to remind you that we have just a few laps available for tomorrow's greatest race in the history of spring. That's right, you can promote you as a race fan, you can promote your favorite driver, your business, whatever the case may be. They are available exclusively while they last, and I advise you to get down there as soon as possible. Go down to the novelty booth behind turn number 4 and make sure you make those purchases. We just want to fill every lap up. Our attention now shifts to turn number 3, and the field will be coming onto the track for 4 qualifying events. Kyle Rickey, there will be 8 laps in distance, a dash for the cash, and of course, the most prestigious thing. You heard Doug Colby talk about it. You've heard Michael Christopher talk about it. They're all here for one thing, to save their equipment but finish up front and be ready for the greatest race in the history of spring.
$125,000 on the line and a lot of money on the line for later today in those NAPA Auto Parts Duel qualifying races. It's the moment we have been waiting for 101st qualifying race.
Well, it is time to go racing, and the starting lineup will look like this. Scheduled to start at the point will be the Monaco Ford machine, a Chassis Pro car from Tallinn, Connecticut, car 75 for David Arute.
Outside of the front row, car number 25 from Harvard, Massachusetts, the Ceravolos Auto, Molly's Auto Repair sponsored car for Matt Swanson.
Row number 2 to the inside, the Harshaw Paving Company, Landy Tinios, number 44 Mass. Ladies and gentlemen, from Marion, Connecticut, 6-time Whelen Modified Tour champion, Doug Colby.
Outside of row number 2, former SK Light champion here at the Speedway, the 55 CT from Danbury, Connecticut, Montanari Fuel, the sponsor for Teddy Hodgson.
And moving now to the next row on the inside, car number 7, New York. He too is a champion of the Whelen Modified Tour, the Baldwin Automotive Machine. From Holtzville, New York, Justin Bonsignor.
Former 2-time SK Modified champion at the racetrack, car number 50 from Lebanon, Connecticut, the Empower Financial Advisory entry for Ronnie Williams.
4 rows back to the inside, car number 08, the Hulkowitz Plumbing and Drain Cleaning car from Shelton, Connecticut, Nick Hulkowitz.
8th starter, car number 17 from Amherst, New York, the Tow Book entry for Danny Knoll Jr.
Gunsmoke Stables brings us car number 8 from Bellingham. This is the Cam McDermott Chassis Pro Chassis McCombs Motorsports car. Ladies and gentlemen, the Woodman from Stafford, Woody Pitcat.
Heat race number 1 ready to go. Starting lineups for these next 4 heat races. Drawn earlier today, part of a blind draw as they come off of turn number 4. Green flag is up and we are underway here in 2024 at Stafford, and it's going to be Matt Swanson showing the way to turn 2.
Matt Swanson was the fastest car in the 3rd round of practice today. He puts the Mully number 25, the Gary Casella car, to the point. Side-by-side bids are stacked up, 2 rows, and behind them 2 more rows. Back to the front of the field, Teddy Hodgson, Kyle. We talked about him earlier. Teddy Hodgson is a man with a mission. He looks racy to the outside.
Gets that 2nd spot away from David Arute and immediately draws in on race leader Matt Swanson. 2 by 2 from 2nd on back, all behind Swanson, who leads lap 2.
Meanwhile, Doug Colby lines up with the number 75 car of David Arute. They look racy as they head down the back straightaway. Arute had a slight advantage, but up on the wheel, here comes Teddy Hodgson. Side by side in 2 by 2. No one is giving up any real estate in this NAPA Duel qualifying event.
Doug Colby kind of trapped right now in that 4th spot. 2nd car in line on the bottom, car number 44, wanting to make a move on Arute, and Hodgson stuck in line with Ronnie Williams to his right elbow. Williams gets a little bit of boost in that outside lane. A challenge for 3rd, halfway home, 4 down, 4 to go.
He runs to the outside, and Williams puts the Empower Financial Group car to the outside of David Arute. They're pretty much side by side down the back straightaway. Horsepower will work to the advantage. David Arute takes it in deep. Williams in the upper lane. Off turn number 4, it is Arute by inches at the line.
Arute for 3rd, 4 now. Williams still not giving up in the outside lane. Colby, pretty good seat for that battle in position number 5. And don't count out Justin Bonsignor right there in 6. Woody Pitcat in 7th. Some heavy hitters right now outside of the top 4 as Colby goes to the bottom.
No question, here comes Williams. He'll try the crossover move. Car number 50 can't get the job done. David Arute doing a masterful job of holding on to the 3rd spot. This time when they come back to the line, white flag is out. Nobody is surrendering in the battle among the top 8.
1 lap to go for Matt Swanson, who has led all the laps thus far. Teddy Hodgson closing to within a car length, and it's David Arute, Ronnie Williams, and Doug Colby, followed by Justin Bonsignor as they'll see the checkered this time.
Well, Matt Swanson shows it was no fluke. He was quickest in round number 3 in practice. He'll take down the win. Teddy Hodgson, solid run for 2nd. David Arute to finish in 3rd. Ronnie Williams for 4th.
Behind Williams in 4th, Doug Coby in 5th, Justin Bonsignor in 6th, Woody Pitkat in 7th, Danny Knoll and Nick Holkowitz rounding out the 9 cars. Nick, of course, had an issue in practice earlier today, getting that car repaired and buttoned up for this heat race and then the dual races here later today.
You know, Kyle, before we get to our next qualifying round, just want to point out, as you go down through the list of this first qualifying round, Matt Swanson ran an SK here. Teddy Hodgson, same can be said. David Arute, Ronnie Williams. The top 4 cars held off some of the top drivers in the Wheel and Modified Tour. Doug Coby, Justin Bonsignor, Woody Pitkat. Shows you the nature of the competition from Stafford's own SK Modified division. Round number 2 comes on to the racetrack. Here's Kyle Rickey with the starting lineup.
Speaking of stacked lineups and drivers that have come from the SK program, the front row going to be interesting here. Car number 11 on the pole from Farmington, Connecticut, the Hummel Brothers hot dog sponsored car for last year's SK runner-up in Corey DiMatteo.
Moving to the outside of that row, it's the Cooker Construction Chassis Pro car. His trailer looks more like a museum than anything else. Car number 81, the 6-time champion, Todd Owen.
And has won the last 3 SK titles here at the Speedway. To the inside of row 2, car number 16 from Norwalk, Connecticut, former Modified Tour champion from the Blue Mountain Machine, future home-sponsored car for Ron Silk.
United Services of New England brings us the Lumax Package Store Machine. Prestige Motors Company number 13 from Preston, Connecticut. It is Max Zackham to start for.
5th starter, car number 48 from North Haven, Connecticut, a graduate from the SKs and the SK Light Modifieds as well from the North Haven area. Wheeler's Auto, the sponsor for Marcello Refrano.
Moving now 6 on the grid, it'll be car number 55. Glastonbury Cleaning Service among the sponsors of Ed Baggett's car. And that, of course, from Kannapolis, North Carolina, car number 55X for Jacob Perry.
To the inside of row number 4, car number 31 from Avon, Connecticut, the Mid-State Site Development car for Noah Corner.
And then we move to car number 77, the Skip Barber Racing School car from Northport, New York. It is William Lambros.
Field on the 1 to go. We'll come to the green flag this time. Heat race number 2 of 4. What we are doing now is setting the starting lineups for the NAPA Auto Parts Duel qualifying races later today.
Here they come off turn number 4. Starter looks the field over. Green flag is out, and Corey DiMatteo leads the charge, the point of the arrow here. But look out, because here comes Ronnie Silk. Silk has moved quickly into second in the Phil Moran prepared car. Then we've got a side-by-side battle back in the 4th spot.
That is the battle for 4th. Matt Zackham in car number 13 to the inside, trying to take the spot away from Todd Owen in car number 81, the 3-time and defending SK Modified champion. DiMatteo, meanwhile, feeling the heat up front from Ron Silk.
Look at Ron Silk. Took it in at a ton. Rim wides. Corey DiMatteo gives him a smooch to the back bumper. No love affair there. Here comes Marcello Refrano, the pride of Italy. A graduate again from our divisions here at Stafford, the SKs and the SK Lights doing double duty. Marcello Refrano moves into second, third, and fourth become the heated spots now.
DiMatteo kicked back to third. Matt Zackham ready to attack there in fourth. Todd Owen rounding out the top 5. And you're right, Ben, a lot of these drivers will be pulling double duty tomorrow when the SK Modifieds hit the racetrack for their first event of 2024s. We'll get halfway this time by. 4 down, 4 to go. Heat race number 2. Ron Silk showing the way.
Last lap by, he turns a time of 18.403. That's pretty impressive. That's faster than any lap was turned today in practice. Ronnie Silk showing why he is the defending champion. He looks racy at the point, but the battle for second on back, even though it's single file right now, remember, the strategy is to get locked in among those premier spots. And this is the second qualifier. Kyle, you know what that means for tomorrow's event.
The closer you finish here in these heat races, the closer to the front you're going to start in the dual qualifying races later this afternoon as they go back to the corner. The battle for second begin to separate themselves from the rest of the field. Marcello Refrano, Corey DiMatteo, second and third, about 5 car lengths behind Ron Silk, who will see the white flag this time.
Well, they're bumper to bumper. They come off turn number 4. White flag is out, and Ronnie Silk looks like he has things covered. defending champion of the Wheel and Modified Tour in Phil Moran's race car. Looks racy. Final time through turn number 3, off the 4th turn. Round number 2 will go into the record books, and the story will be Ron Silk to take down the win. Marcello Rafano to finish in 2nd, Corey DiMatteo is 3rd, and Max Zackham to round out the top 4.
In 5th, it was Todd Owen. Noah Corner finished in the 6th spot. Jacob Perry in 7th. And William Lambros rounding out the 8-car field in heat race number 2.
Well, the 3rd qualifier is staged behind the wall, as they'll be coming out next in just a few short moments. Don't forget, we need to sell those final laps for tomorrow's greatest race in the history of spring. You can head down to the novelty booth. We'll promote whatever you want promoted, and we want you to be a part of the presentation and help the folks out as well.
And you get a pretty cool set of trading cards
You do.
from last year's Napa Spring Sizzler as a lap sponsor for tomorrow. So about 90% of the laps are gone, just a few remain. So get involved and be a part of tomorrow's greatest race in the history of spring, heat race number 3, rolling out onto the speedway.
It sure is, and starting at the point is the Newtown Pools machine. Tommy Wanick is the owner of the car from Newtown, Connecticut. Car number 1, this is the Dayglow Orange lettered number 1, and this is Stephen Kopsik.
Outside of the front row, the 00, we heard from him just a moment ago in our pit preview from Wolcott, Connecticut, the James R. Page Plumbing and Heating sponsored car for Mike Christopher Jr.
Row number 2 to the inside, the Allied Sanitations machine. From Wolcott, Connecticut, it's a Fury chassis. They call him the Mooch. Joey Muchacharo Jr.
4th starter, car number 9 from Millis, Massachusetts, the Victory Lane Bar and Grill sponsored car for Tommy Barrett Jr.
Fastest car in practice, round number 1, the GAF Roofing Goodies Motorsports machine. From Riverhead, New York, car number 58 for Eric Goodale.
Outside row number 3, it is the 5 CT from Lisbon, Connecticut, the Dolly's Collision and Custom sponsored car for 2nd generation driver Chris Pastriak.
In the 7th starting spot, the Superior Finishing Lasco Roofing and Sheet Metal. Teddy Anderson's car from Danbury, Connecticut, George Bissett Jr.
And rounding out the field, car number 79 from Chelmsford, Massachusetts, the Christopher's Towing sponsored entry for John McKennedy.
This is round number 3. If you're tuned in, watching us on Flow, welcome to the show. This is Napa Duels Day here at the Stafford Speedway. Over 100 cars assembled in the paddock area for just today's festivities. Looking at the field off turn number 4, all eyes are on there. Here's Kyle Rickey as they come back to the line.
Stephen Kopsik leads the field down to the green flag with Mike Christopher Jr. to his outside as heat race number 3 is off and rolling for 8 laps. And Kopsik is gone at the point, immediately pulls out by about 3 car lengths.
He is the rabbit being chased by the dog in this one. In less than a half a mile, he's pulled away by 2 car lengths. Side by side, bid for 2nd. Joey Mooch is threading the needle to the inside. Michael Christopher digging hard. Here comes Goodale. Here comes Pastriak. And here comes Bissett.
Goodale had a look to the inside, just nowhere for him to go in that 58 car. Looks to the inside now of Mike Christopher Jr. for 3rd, kind of boxed in behind Joey Muchacharo from 2nd on back. Here's Goodale to the inside of Christopher, now to the inside of Mooch up the backstretch for the runner-up position.
Here they go, side by side. Goodale takes over the spot. Meanwhile, Michael Christopher has to change his line. But here comes Bissett. The yellow number 1 car almost started in the parking lot in this event, starting dead last up to 4. Here comes, well, John McKennedy, showing why he is a former champion of the Wheel and Modified Tour, bumping Pastriak back 1.
Chris Pastriak gets back in the line, losing a couple, and as does Joey Muchacharo, was up there running with the leaders a moment ago, is back to 7th now and in jeopardy of losing that spot to Tommy Barrett as they make their way up the backstretch. 2-car breakaway in front of the field for Stephen Kopsik and Eric Goodale as they come around with 3 to go.
Well, with 3 laps remaining in the event, it is Barrett who picks up a spot. Back up front, Goodale. Going, gone. Eric Goodale. We call him a closer. He knows how to run hard at the end of every event. He is reeled in on Kopsik. Now look at John McKennedy down underneath. the yellow number 1 car of Bissett. Side by side, bid for the 4th spot.
Bissett in the outside lane. McKennedy, plenty of room to the inside to take that 4th spot away. Chris Pastriak, part of that battle as well, running in 6th. Off turn 4 they come. White flag, 1 lap to go for Eric Goodale. And car number 58 started in the second half of the field in 5th. Has quickly made his way up to the front and beginning to break away from Stephen Kopchik.
While all that's been happening, Michael Christopher is suddenly reeled in. He moves to the inside. Michael Christopher takes over 2nd from Stephen Kopchik. Eric Goodale will take down the win. Michael Christopher in for 2nd. Late event charge there. Stephen Kopchik for 3rd. And John McKennedy round out the top 4.
George Bissett Jr. will round out the top 5 in 5th. Then it's Chris Pastriak, Tommy Barrett, and Joey Muchacharo. The finishing order of the 8 starters in heat race number 3.
Well, the 4th and final qualifying round is about ready to rumble on to the racetrack. This is NAPA Duel Saturday. From the half mile, a lot of great fans have come out in support of this. Those of you watching on Flow, not too late to get here for tomorrow's festivities. Not too late at all, and we hope to see you here. Our 4th qualifying heat will look like this. Car number 51, the JB Management car. It's from Newtown, Connecticut, for the young and talented Anthony Bello.
And on the outside of the front row, car number 179, another young and talented driver in the modified ranks from Northampton, Pennsylvania. Avenue Auto, the sponsor for Austin Beers.
Row number 2 to the inside, car number 28, the Cape Towing and Salvage car from Woodstock, Connecticut. It is the 28 for Buddy Charette.
To the outside of row number 2, car number 73 from Buffalo, New York, the Automotive Creations Florida Safety System sponsored car. Fresh from a 7th place finish in the ARCA race last night in Dover, here's Andy Jankowiak.
Now moving now to the 3rd row to the inside, car number 57, one of Stafford's best, the M&M Stone Creation Mark Payne owned car from Berlin, Connecticut. It is Keith Rocco.
Outside row number 3, car number 4 from Riverhead, New York, the Matlatch Motorsports sponsored car for Kyle Elwood.
4 rows back to the inside, car number 3. He works down south now, the AAA Consulting Deborah Galco car. From Kanawaba, North Carolina, it is car number 3 for Matty Galco.
And the winner of the 50th running of this event just a couple of years ago will start from the shotgun position in 8th, car number 60 from Northampton, Pennsylvania, the Florida Connection sponsored car for Matt Hirschman.
There we have it, 7 cars strong in this event. It was originally scheduled to start 8 cars. The car that we do not see in the starting grid, they were having some mechanical problems in practice, is the number 28 machine for Buddy Charette. Field looks good coming off turn number 4. Picture perfect textbook start. Down to the line they come. How ironic, the 179 was driven by Bellows in a previous season, but Anthony Bellows blisters his way into turn 3.
As the race leader over Austin Beers, who's trying to hang on to that 2nd spot. Here comes Jankowiak to the inside to challenge for that position in car number 73, and it'll be Jankowiak that takes the spot for now, but outside lane, Austin Beers not going down without a fight.
And while that is happening, keep your eyes on Kid Rock, Keith Rocco, up to the 4th spot, running in the tire tracks of Jankowiak. Jankowiak puts it to the bottom, almost there, but digging in hard is Austin Beers. Remember the pre-race interview. He said that he wanted nothing better than to get into the show because he is a distance runner. Meanwhile, Jankowiak can't shake him off, still continues to hold on for 2nd. Here comes Keith Rocco. Will he make that patented move, Kyle? Down in turn 3, he's got still enough time to get the job done.
Takes the 3rd spot away, coming to 4 laps complete, 4 to go, and at the front of the field, it is all Anthony Bello. Jankowiak in 2nd, Rocco in 3rd. They are bottled up from 4th on back. Kyle Elwood that is, along with Austin Beers. They go side by side just in front of Matt Hirschman, who has nowhere to go, along with Matt Galco in that number 3 car.
There's no question about it. He got shuffled all the way back. It is Austin Beers. That will move in Hirschman into the top 5. Down the back straightaway, Keith Rocco literally got sideways off the turn. Something has went awry in the Rocco machine. He just wants to hold on and ride this one out.
Hirschman, meanwhile, trying to get around Elwood for position number 4. Kyle Elwood has that spot 4 now in the number 4 car. Hirschman setting him up. He has a lap and a half to make a move. The race leaders will see the white flag this time by in Anthony Bello. Jankowiak closing in a bit, but it's about to run out of time.
Certainly is. They run deep into turn number 3. Hirschman now all over Elwood coming off the turn. Matt Hirschman saw daylight to the inside. Elwood slams the door as they come back off turn number 4. At the line, it is Anthony Bello. Andy Jankowiak to finish in second. Keith Rocco held on for 3.
Kyle Elwood finished in the 4th spot. Then it was Matt Hirschman in 5th, Austin Beer 6th, and Matt Gallo in the 7th spot. So with that, the starting lineups being calculated right now and set for the NAPA Auto Parts Duel qualifying races, each 40 laps in distance to set the starting lineup for tomorrow's 52nd running of the NAPA Spring Sizzler.
Sure is, and all of these action events are brought to you by NAPA Auto Parts. Remember, get up and go at your local NAPA Auto Parts store, where NAPA Auto Care is always there with a quality staff, the best in pricing. If they don't have it, they will get it for you. Now, coming onto the street on the Speedway is our street stock division for their first qualifying rounds of 2024. There is 3 qualifying events, and here's Kyle Rickey with the starting lineup.
On the pole, car number 7, the first car onto the racetrack a moment ago from Granby, Massachusetts. Safeco Foam and Dryer Vent Cleaning Company providing the sponsorship for Jeff Aslan.
Then it's the Dustbusters Duct Cleaning car from Ware, Massachusetts. It is Sean Petlock with car number 15.
Inside row number 2, car number 21, that is, a veteran of this division from Summers, Connecticut, the Tri-State Equipment Repair sponsored car for Jason Lafayette.
Moving to the outside of row number 2, it's the Rico's Pizza, LaJoy's Auto Wrecker car. From Stamford, Connecticut, car number 71, Marvin Minkler.
5th starter, car number 42 from Barkhamsted, Connecticut, the PJ Ladola and Sons Electrical Contractors entry for Travis Downing.
Moving now to the outside of that row, it's the American Sign, Randy Higginson car from Ellington, Connecticut, Bert Ouellette.
Inside row number 4, car number 12, from Galway, New York, the Raw Services sponsored car for Jason Haribons.
Then we go to the outside. Jet Electric brings us the Jason Trotone car from Enfield, Connecticut for Garrett Pease, car 51.
And 9th starter, car number 26, the Rent-A Race car number 26 for Kevin Abshire.
So there you have it. This is our first round of qualifying for our street stock division. And we want to remind you, our street stock class here, of course, has support and sponsorship from the good folks from the Meadows Driving Range, RAD Auto Machine, the parts people here, which is GRE6.com, and, of course, New England Racing Fuels providing us with Sunoco, the official fuel of the Stafford Motor Speedway. Speaking of Sunoco, their stand is set up with souvenir items next to the popcorn and the ice cream stand. Kyle, here they come. Round number 1 is about to go green.
Lined up, ready to go off of turn number 4. Green flag is up, and we are underway with Jeff Aslan showing the way. The first of 3 qualifying events for the street stocks as they race up the backstretch for the first time. Here comes Travis Downey, already up to 3rd, moving around Marvin Minkler and looking to attack on Aslan and the number 21. That is Jason Lafayette, who gets the advantage in the outside lane.
Here they come off turn number 4, car 21. Jason Lafayette quickly moves to the front of the class. Following through, it is Travis Downey. Downey moves into 2nd. Side-by-side bid. All of a sudden, the 7 car, Jeff Aslan, drops off the pace. That works to the advantage of Marvin Minkler, who moves into the 3rd position.
Minkler in that old Don LaJoy paint scheme, and car number 71 in that 3rd spot as he crosses the line. Car number 84, Bert Ouellette, multi-time feature winner here at the racetrack, unable to get the Napa victory lane last year, running in 4th. As we continue to watch the battle for the lead begin to tighten up just a bit, Jason Lafayette in the 21, Travis Downey in the 42, closing now to within about a car length and a half.
There's no question about it. Travis is reeling him in. He continues to hit his marks and get closer and closer. But Jason Lafayette continues to run the perfect line. A little further back, it is still Marvin Minkler and Bert Ouellette. Right there with him, 4 cars have strung it out, but off the turn, all of a sudden, Downey has moved in, and we've got 1 lap to go.
Final lap in this 5-lap qualifying event for the Street Stocks. Lafayette, a 5-time Street Stock winner here, but it's been a few years in car number 21. Looking to change that in their opening feature later today. Travis Downey will have 1 more shot to take the heat race win as they come off of turn number 4 in car 42.
Here they come, the tail that wags the dog in this one, but Jason Lafayette will take down the victory. Travis Downey to finish in second, Marvin Minkler to finish in third, and Bert Ouellette to finish in fourth.
Waiting for some of the second half of the field to cross the line. Jason Haribons in 5th in car number 12. Garrett Pease in the 51. Practiced that car for the first time last weekend. And then we have Richard Absher and Jeff Aslin, who only completed a couple of laps before mechanical issues put that car on the pit lane in number 7.
Well, round number 1 is all but history. 2 more qualifying events. If you just joined us, we remind you, plenty of great food, great midway attractions that are available down here. Head on down, see a great tribute car to Bob Povereri. The original 711 car has so much history. It was part of my stable at one time, built for my dad, but Bob Povereri and a bunch of other great people were the original people, and now Wade Gagner and the good folks at Mayberry have done an amazing job. That's located down by the main entrance area. And of course, Monday night carts as well.
Yeah, which kicks off, hard to believe, in just a couple of weeks. We have a missing cell phone. Well, the cell phone has found its way up here to the announcer's tower. It was found in, I believe, the ladies' room down on the midway. So if you are missing a cell phone, come up to the tower just above the start-finish line and retrieve it.
Yes, absolutely. Well, here we go with our second qualifying round. What have we got, Kyle?
Car number 75 scheduled to lead the field to the green flag here in this second event, and a very familiar name and face scheduled to be on the pole. Last year's champion, car number 75, is Ryan Waterman.
And moving to the outside of that row, the main moose, Charlie's Towing Company machine. From Columbia, Connecticut, it is David Maka Jr.
To the outside of that row, car number 49 from Somers, Connecticut, the Barn Package Store, providing the sponsorship for the 49 for Jason Raymond.
4-starter on the field, the Bobby's Burner service car from Hamden, Mass. It is Bobby Wilson, car 00.
5th starter, car number 13 from Stafford Springs, Connecticut, the Charlie's Towing sponsored car for Matt Martell.
6th starter on the field, the Roy's Auto Service, Vanish Valley Brewing Company car from Belchertown, Mass. It's Bill Cody.
Car number 27 scheduled up next, all the way from Pennsylvania, the Terp Warehousing sponsored car for Andreas Bogey.
And one of the rental race cars, machine car number 6, is Kevin Vincent. He'll be starting back in 8th, making his first appearance.
Scheduled to start in 9th, car number 23 from Wallingford, Connecticut, the Connecticut Compressor Systems sponsored car for Alex Spinato. Not sure if he's going to make it onto the racetrack after an incident in practice earlier today.
Well, here we go. This is our second qualifying round. For those of you tuned in this afternoon on Flow, welcome aboard. This is the greatest race in the history of spring. This is Napa Duels Day, and we've already qualified for the duels. We're in the midst of our street stock qualifying, and car number 75, Ryan Waterman. Waste no time at all, Kyle. He's showing why he's one of the big dogs in this class, but the battle for second, a whole different deal.
Waterman not expected to run a full-time season, but I think he said that last year. Ran the full year and won the championship. He is here today and looking good at the end of lap number 1 of this heat race out front over Jason Raymond in second, Bill Cody in third. Here's Cody peeking to the inside of Raymond for that runner-up spot. David Mesha rounding out the front 4 as we have a car spun off of turn number 2. That's Kevin Vincent in the number 6.
Yep, gets it fired back up. No harm, no foul there. They come off the turn, and we've got a battle shaping up for the second spot. Currently, it's Bill Cody. who moved into second with that 69 car. Jason Raymond dropped back to the third position, and things, well, behind that are pretty much settled in. But out in front, Ryan Waterman is the star of the show. He comes back to the stripe. Here they come. Leader is Waterman. 2 laps to go.
Back to turn number 1 they go, and it's Waterman continuing to break away from Cody in second. About to put a lap on the Kevin Vincent car that spun just a moment ago in turn number 2. Top 5 strung out, length of the back straightaway, coming to the white flag. Waterman, Cody, Raymond, Mesha, and Matt Martell in 5th.
White flag is out. Nobody's surrendering as they continue to run on the final circuit of the half mile. Down the back straightaway, leader now under the American flag, heading down into turn number 3. Ryan Waterman back in winning form here at Stafford. No surprises here. Checkered flag is out, and Waterman will take down the win.
By a healthy margin over Bill Cody in second, about 3 seconds in fact. Jason Raymond back to third. David Mesha Sr. in 4th, and Matt Martell, the only other car that finished on the lead lap, in 5th. Kevin Vincent spun over in turn number 2 early on in the event and will finish in position number 6.
Well, coming up next is going to be our limited late model division. Let's take a peek at their contingency partners. But right now, Kyle Rickey, we've got one more street stock heat before we go there.
Yes, we do, and they'll roll out onto the speedway here in just a moment, and some heavy hitters in this third and final street stock qualifying event. Good field of cars set to go for their feature event here later today. Then we'll have limited late model and late model qualifying events before we get set to go for feature competition. Starting on the pole, car number 94. Went through this race car top to bottom during the offseason. The 94, a first-time winner in this division a year ago from Goshen, Connecticut, a rent-a-race car entry for Chris Danielchuk.
And then it'll be the Stafford Veterinarian Center's number 44 for Rob Sears out of Stafford Springs, Connecticut.
Third starter, car number 80 from East Hartford, Connecticut, the JHS Restoration-sponsored car for Tyler Trott.
Outside of that row, here's one of the big dogs, the Hyder Construction Company. Number 11 from Woodbury, Connecticut, Travis Hydar.
Another one of the big dogs, in fact, a 19-time winner in this division, tied for second. The 01 from Agawam, Massachusetts, the Beaver Camper Service-sponsored car for Johnny Walker.
In the 6th starting spot, it's the Avery Racing Machine from North Windham, Connecticut for Jonathan Avery, car number 17.
And one of the new names here at the Speedway will start from position number 7 from Griswold, Connecticut, the Planchen Management Solutions sponsored car for Ashton Young.
And starting scratch in another rental race cars machine, it is Nick Ulich driving the number 22 car. He'll be starting from the 8th position. This is the final qualifying round for our street stock division. Next coming on to the racetrack will be the limited late models. And again, we hope that you're enjoying this, whether you're watching on Flow or you're here this afternoon. A fine crowd of individuals have come out to be a part of NAPA history here as the field heads down the back straightaway. Picture perfect weather, Kyle. Today and tomorrow is supposed to be one of the same.
Looks good for both days here for the 52nd running of the Napa Spring Sizzler. Don't forget the SK Modifieds and the SK Light Modifieds. They will be here tomorrow to open up their 2024 campaigns, along with the Open Modifieds and the Napa Spring Sizzler. Green is up here for the street stocks. Chris Danielchuk will lead the field to turn number 1.
Well, remember a year ago when Danielchuk was so shocked that he was able to pull off the victory in the final circuit of competition, his first win. Already moving towards the front of the field is Travis Hydar. Hydar took a peek to the outside, running in the tire tracks of Johnny Walker. Walker guards the spot. Hydar is there. That is the bid for the 3rd and 4th position.
Tyler Trott up to 2nd. Then it's Walker and Hydar, the 01 and the 11. Jonathan Avery rounding out the top 5 in car number 17. Hard to miss that car on the racetrack, along with the 11. A bit of a new look this year for Travis Hydar, as he's going to run for the championship, along with the 01 of Walker. They are nose-to-nose for 3rd.
They certainly are. They are literally side by side down to the bottom of turn number 1. Yellow and purple machine car number 11. Travis Hydar has moved into the 3rd position. He's not done yet. Look just in front of them. Good bid for the lead. Reeling him in. It is Trott. Right there in 2nd to the back bumper of Danielchuk. Trot slides that front bumper along the back bumper. Daniel Chuck gets loose. Here comes Travis Hydar on the gas down the back straightaway.
Yeah, Hydar's looking to go around them both, trying to take the second spot away from Trot. Now the race lead from Chris Danielchuk from third to first, coming to the white flag for car number 11, last year's championship runner-up. Two of last year's feature winners are side by side to turn one.
There's no question about it. Travis Hydar has brought his A game back to Stafford. Same can be said about the car that is currently setting in the second spot. That, of course, was Daniel Chuck, but he's drifted back to the bottom of the top four. They come off turn number 4 back to the stripe. Checkered flag is out. Travis Hydar will take down the win. Tyler Trott will finish in second, Johnny Walker for third, and Jonathan Avery to round out the top 4.
Chris Danielchuk really got shuffled back to the last half of the top 5 on that final lap, finishing in 5th. Then it's Rob Sears in 6th, Ashton Young in 7th, and Nick Ulrich will round out the 8 starters in qualifying heat race number 3 for the Street Stocks. Their lineup now is set for their feature event here later this afternoon.
They sure are, Kyle. And coming up next, we gave you a little sneak preview just a few minutes ago. And that, of course, is our limited late model division. And, of course, their contingency partners are very important to us as well. In the limited late model division, it is Riley Generators, Rad Auto Machine, and New England Racing Fuel Sunoco. We appreciate their support. On the Speedway, one of 2 qualifying rounds. Car number 17 will be starting at the points. That's Ari Jensick driving the Funkaway machine from Canton, Connecticut.
To the outside of her on the front row, car number 28, a former champion in this division from Tallinn, Connecticut, the Wheelers Auto Parts NAPA-sponsored car for Rich Hammond.
A multiple champion starts next. The L&S Equipment Rosati trucking car. Car number 6, Ken Lavoie owns the car, but Jeremy Lavoie is the talent behind the wheel from Windsor Locks, Connecticut.
4th starter, car number 20 from New Salem, Massachusetts, Doug's Home Improvements. The entry for Christopher Phelps.
Rob Russell Chassis brings us to number 83 from Willington, Connecticut, R.J. Serdell.
6th starter, car number 82 from Pasco, Rhode Island, the Mertz Racing Enterprises car for Samantha Dell.
7th starter on the field, the Daddy O'Honey machine. Car number 42 from Northford, Connecticut, Dana Ray.
And to her outside, her teammate making her debut here tonight, car number 44 from Durham, Connecticut, the DMW graphics car for Shelby Swan.
Well, that is our starting lineup. This is round number 1 of the limited late model division. Don't forget there are a few laps available for tomorrow's greatest race in the history of spring. By making a small donation, you can promote your business, you can support your favorite driver in the starting lineup, or you can just mention you and your family. These laps are available down at the novelty booth. And when you make that purchase, you will be a lucky individual that will be a recipient that will be able to get a special gift as well, those complimentary cards from 1 year ago. Here we come. Here's Kyle Rickey as he brings him to the green. These are the limited late model.
Ari Jensick returns this season for select races, and she's on the pole and leading the field at turn number 1 right now for the first qualifying event for this division. Here comes Jeremy Lavoie. In fact, the last couple of champions side by side for second as Phelps does a 360 off of turn number 2. Keeps it rolling in the right direction as the battle for the lead tightens up off of turn 4. Ari Jensick looking to lead lap number 1, and she does.
Meanwhile, the veteran Rich Hammond was right there, but we've got a yellow. Caution flag came out for Christopher Phelps, did a 360 spin. If this was the Olympics, he'd get points for that, but that's not the case today. He did not make heavy contact with the wall, which is a good thing, and that's going to tighten things up all over again.
Ari Jensick, 19 years old from Canton, Connecticut. No starts here a year ago because she is a graduate from the NASCAR Technical Institute down in Mooresville, North Carolina. Continues to live down there, travels up here when she can get a break in her schedule and compete here in the limited late models.
Sure is, and she's a real talent. And Rich Hammond, one of the great all-time veteran drivers. We're looking at the replay now to check this out. It was a minor spin. There you can see it there. did a great job of keeping that car off the outside cement barrier, had it in the right direction, but he couldn't get it fired back up. He will pick up at the rear of the field as well. It wasn't very long ago that young driver was selling the official pit stopper program in the old days here at the Stafford Speedway. All of the Phelps family were a part of that when Dad was competing in our street stock division.
Christopher, just 18 years old, and will, looks like, pick this one up toward the tail end of the field as the pace car already on pit road. Back underway, one of 8 laps in the books, and Ari Jensick leads them back to turn number 1.
Hammond tries to pull it back in the line, and he does. Meanwhile, Lavoie is trying to shake off the car next to him, which happens to be R.J. Serdell. Serdell in the red, white, and blue. He's the All-American kid next door. Remember the big cowboy hat he wore to victory lane a year ago. As he comes back to the line, leader of the pack is still Ari Jensick. Isn't about to give up any of the real estate. Actually is starting to pull away. Hammond is settled into second. Lavoie, the multiple-time champion, in the 3rd spot. And here comes R.J. Serdell. Little cat and mouse action as they come off turn 4.
The last 2 champions in this division behind Ari Jensick right now. 2 years ago, it was Rich Hammond. Last year, Jeremy Lavoie in that 6 car. Hammond had a peek to the inside of Ari going into turn number 1. Jensick able to hold him off, though. Coming to 4 laps complete in this 8-lap qualifying event for the limited late models.
There's no question about it. Hammond is trying a different strategy, trying to get as much momentum as possible. That's the black with the neon numerals, number 28 setting in second. Now coming closer to the back end. That's all that Lavoie needed as it all of a sudden upset Rich Hammond's race car. They come off the turn, back to the stripe. Ari Jensick has driven flawlessly, but the heat is on.
So far, so good for Ari. Back to turn number 1, slides up just a bit. Rich Hammond can't make a move. Lavoie right there in 3rd, car 6. R.J. Serdell there in 4th in car number 83. Here they come, back off of turn number 4. It'll be 2 laps to go at the line.
There's no question about it. 4 cars run nose to tail, bottom of turn number 1. Ari Jensick continues to set the pace. Rich Hammond is there, but close, well, not close enough. Here comes Lavoie. He seems to be able to launch forward with that red number 6 in yellow numerals. Then it's R.J. Serdell. 1 lap to go.
And a 2-card race, and now Hammond a bit out of shape off of turn number 4, will lose a bit of ground to the race leader, Ari Jensick. Hammond will have to gather it back, has a half a lap to make a run. Lavoie now challenging Hammond for that 2nd spot coming to the checker.
There's no question about it. They work their magic off the turn, but Ari Jensick has given a performance that is very impressive to take down the win. Rich Hammond was close, but he would finish in 2nd. Jeremy Lavoie, the multiple champion, is 3rd, and R.J. Serdell would round out the top 4.
Samantha Dell will finish in 5th. Christopher Phelps, who had that early race spin, in 6th. Then it was Dana Ray in 7th, and Shelby Swan rounding out the 8-car field. And heat race number 1 for the limited late models. And if you know the name Jensick here in heat number 1, Ari, twin brother, will be here in heat race number 2 coming up.
Sure will, but the lineup for the 2nd qualifying round for the limited late models will see car number 22. The GP fence machine, Gary Patnode out of New Hartford, Connecticut, will bring the field to green.
And at the outside of the front row, car number 19 from Plainville, Connecticut, the CSB Communications-sponsored car for Adrian Paradise.
You listened to his pre-race interview, car number 59. He's come here with one thing. He's in search of the title. Utility Services of New England brings us the Wethersfield, Connecticut driver of car 59 for Matt Clement.
You saw Ari Jensick pick up that win a moment ago. Twin brother Devin will start from the 4th spot. Car number 23 from Canton, Connecticut, the Genco construction car for Devin Jensick.
3 goes back to the inside, the Bears Cleaning Service. Number 74 from Springfield, Vermont, Matt Winters II.
And the youngest of the Jensick family will start 6th. Car number 9 from Canton, Connecticut, the RE Spray Foam sponsored car for Connor Jensick.
Now let's look at the final row in the 2nd qualifier. Car car number 07 will be next from Holland, Massachusetts. Little Wolf Rubbish Removals car, and it is Trinity Provost.
8th starter, car number 18 from Wethersfield, Connecticut, the Utility Services in New England sponsored car for Scott Clements.
So there you have it, our second qualifying round, and coming up next will be our late model qualifying events, and then of course the opening festivities for Duels Day here at Stafford, presented by your local NAPA Auto Parts store.
This limited late model division, Ben, celebrating a bit of a milestone here this season, the 20th season that this division has been in action here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Hard to believe that it's been 20 years for the limited late models. We've had 352 races coming into this season, 52 different winners. Andrew Duran, the all-time winningest driver with 33. Jeremy Lavoie, second, who we saw on the racetrack in the first heat with 23 wins in this division.
Here's a heartbreaker. Car number 9 did not get fired back up. It's being assisted down on pit road, so not a good start for the young Connor Jensick, who in the ARI spray foam machine, as he cannot get that car fired up. Hopefully they'll be able to solve that problem and get him back out for the main event of competition. Take a look at the billboards on the backstretch, whether you're here in the grandstand or watching on Flow. We couldn't do it without these individuals. Remember, you can be a proud part of Team Stafford by contributing or advertising with us. For more information, call the Speedway during Monday through Thursday hours, and they'll be more than glad to assist you and make you a part of Team Stafford.
Gary Patno to lead the field off of turn number 4 to start this second and final limited late model qualifying heat race. Patno on the gas, Adrian Paradise to his outside, a bit of a new look for that 19 car this year, along with the 22 to the inside as they race to turn 1 for the first time. 8 laps again the distance.
No question about it, looking very racy to the outside. That's a Dodge Challenger body if you're watching on Flow or here in the grandstand, and it is Adrian Paradis looking racy as he brings them back to the line, full steam ahead. Gary Patno settles back into second, and Matt Clement is already on the move. Here comes Clement, car 59. Bottom shot move, side by side. They work their magic to the bottom of turn number 3. Moving into second, Matt Clement is there. We've got a 3-car bid for third.
Devin Jensick to the inside of Patno with the 74 of Matt Winter looking on now in 5th. 3rd, 4th, and 5th all knotted up back to turn number 1, and that's allowed the top 2 to break away. Adrian Paradise in the 19, Matt Clement in the 59, and then a bit of a gap back to that battle now with led by Devin, make that Gary Patno over Devin Jensick and Matt Winter.
There's no question they still continue to hold their line and work their magic back up front in the competition. Look a little further back in that 3rd spot now. Taking a peek to the inside, Matt Winter with that number 74 car. Dives to the bottom, takes it in deep, steps on the gas. They call that forward bite. And we have a new 3rd place car. It is Matt Winters with car 74. But behind him, still a 2-car bid as they come off the turn and head down the back straightaway.
Matt Winter, just 9 starts in this division a year ago, 19 years old, from Springfield, Vermont. Right now has made his way up to the 3rd spot with just now, looks like 4 laps to run as they go back to turn number 2, and it's a 2-car breakaway at the point. Adrian Paradise, Matt Clement, 1 and 2.
Paradise looking so racy at the point. He has made an all-out effort, and the Challenger is being challenged, but to no avail there as Adrian Paradise still setting a blistering pace. Matt Clement on his back bumper, and then there's a gap, and then there's the bid for the 3rd spot with Matt Winter from the Granite State next door in Vermont. And the white flag is out, Kyle.
Paradise, last year's Rookie of the Year in this division. Still looking for that first win, and a lot of people in the pit area have pegged him as one of the favorites here in the limited late models in 2024. And Right now, at the head of the class here in this qualifying event, checkered flag is up, and Adrian Paredes will take down the race win by a car length over Matt Clement in second, Matt Winter in third, and Devin Jensick in fourth.
Then it'll be Gary Patno to finish in fifth, Trinity Provost finishing in the sixth spot, Scott Clement for seventh, and Connor Jensick was unable to start the event. Kind of a heartbreaking situation there for him. Coming up next is going to be, of course, our late model division. And we want to remind you that that's the end of our Facebook and YouTube screen. You can go to Flow and watch the rest of the racing action, and we certainly hope that you will join us as well. Before we give you the starting lineup, we just want to mention our